Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Subnautica Below Zero. Except I'm not playing, this is actually a pre-recorded stream of mine. I believe it's part 3. And today we are going to be comparing Subnautica to Subnautica Below Zero. I've already reviewed both games and given my overall opinion, and to save anybody the time of which one I like better and why, I like the first game better. Specifically, I like the first game better because of the storyline, because of the lack of hand-holding, and because of the just sheer terrifying aspect of being in the ocean for the first time. It didn't really feel like I was in a different ocean. It didn't really feel like a different environment a lot of the time in Below Zero, mostly because of the fact that I was, used to the ocean feeling from the first game, but also partially just because of the fact that I have played Subnautica so much, and Below Zero was just another Subnautica game. But we're going to be comparing both of the games to one another today in some of the aspects that I think make video games worthwhile to play. This includes the storyline of the game, the AI of the game, including enemies and friendly AIs, which in this game means fish or leviathans. The graphics of the games, which is important, but not the end-all be-all in terms of which game is better. The music, and finally, the replay ability. So let's start off strong here with the one that's going to be the easiest, the graphics. Subnautica came out in 2015, Below Zero came out in 2021. So obviously, Below Zero is going to have better graphics. And I'm not just saying that because I played Below Zero on my computer, and I played Subnautica on my PS4. I'm saying that because I've played both on my PC, on the same graphics card, on the same graphics settings, and Below Zero looks way better. A little bit of a jump cut there. I'm gonna have to be careful in between the soundtrack because there are ads in the soundtrack now, apparently, so apologies for the jump cuts every now and again. The music should hopefully stay the same, while the actual stream gameplay is obviously not going to stay the same. Apologies for that. We were talking about the graphics and the walls and stuff. The walls in this game look like actual rock faces rather than just flat textures or flat walls with a rock-like texture painted onto them. They actually look like a rock that you could reach out and touch in this game. The fish look great as well, even though it's not really appearing that well on the stream or recording right now. That's just because a lot of depth and pixels get lost when you record in 720p instead of 1080, which I don't have the current ability to do, especially while playing a game as intense on my CPU and GPU as Below Zero is. However, the graphics obviously goes to Below Zero. The next one, the music. I'm pretty torn on the music in terms of comparison. I feel like Simon, the guy that did it for the first game, did a wonderful job with the music, and at the same time, I feel like Ben Prunty, the guy that did the music for Below Zero, also did a fantastic job. I really like the jukebox in Below Zero more than any other feature in the Subnautica proper. But I feel like the overall soundtrack for the different biomes in Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero both fit, so I can't really pick a winner on that one. What's another big point? Storyline. I like the storyline in Below Zero more than I do in Subnautica, like the storyline raw as it is. I don't like how it's told, though. So in terms of the whole storyline of Below Zero, spoilers by the way, there will be a warning in the description, so if you've watched this far and you haven't played Below Zero yet, you might want to go do that first. Anyway, spoiler warning over. The story in this game is your sister gets involved with some bad stuff with Altera Corporation and the Kara virus in the Arctic area of Below Zero with the frozen Leviathan, and Sam, your sister, tries to cure it and succeeds in, or, well, doesn't succeed in curing it, but succeeds in doing a whole bunch of shit to Altera with the help of Margaret Maida from the first game. And in this entire thing that happens between Sam and Marge and Altera, Sam ends up dying. And you, as Robin, Sam's sister, come in to try to figure out what happened. A, what happened to your sister, and B, what the fuck Altera was doing that made Sam do what she did in this regard. Overall, I like that storyline. I like the whole, you're trying to find your sister Sam, you're trying to figure out what happened to Sam, and you're trying to figure out all of these different things. I really like that. And with the added thing of Alan and trying to find the precursors and all of that good stuff, I feel like it is a very good story. However, I do feel like it's not told in the best way possible. I feel like it could be told a lot better through the use of less waypoints. Basically, this game holds your hand way too much. This game will take your hand, grab onto it tightly, and will not let go for anything. Literally anything. It won't let go. There are beacons directing you to every major story point in the entire game. There are markers and waypoints and breadcrumb trails everywhere. It's not like the first game where you literally have to explore areas that don't even have life pods for beacons in order to find wrecks that hold the blueprints to actually, like, progress in the game. Cyclops parts? Yeah, there's a couple Cyclops parts by one of the life pods, but what about the other two Cyclops parts? You gotta go find those somewhere else, like the floating island or the mountain island, or even the back of the Aurora if you want to be ballsy and just go toe-to-toe with a couple of Reapers. In this game, everything is a beacon. Delta Station dock, beacon. Distress signal of Allen's, beacon. That one should definitely not be a beacon. Marge's last known position, which is how I just found her base. Beacon. Everything is a beacon in this game, except for the things that it gives you an actual map for. Yes, this game gives you actual maps as well, which is a good quality of life bit, but I also think that it's a little bit, what's it called? A little bit, you know, too much. Like, the two maps that I can think of in this game are one that show you all of the, what are they called? All of the spy pangling spots for Sam's spy pangling thing, and one that shows you the actual, area where she stored the cure samples. And the other beacon shows you all of the Altera locations, such as Kappa Mining Site, Phi Research, all of the other ones. Delta Station, it shows you every single one. Omega Labs. And I really think that that is good. It's a better approach than just straight up telling you, hey, here's a beacon, go here, versus, you know, everything else that it does the rest of the game. So I'm very, very happy with that, but I still think that the first game of explore around, see what you can find on your own first, and then there will be beacons to guide you to certain story points. Everything in the first game was exploration based, versus this game was, here's a beacon, honey, go find it. And I don't really like that much. So we've talked about music, we've talked about the story, we've talked about the whole hand-holding thing. I think the only thing left that I want to talk about currently unless I'm forgetting something, which we'll find out here in a second if I'm forgetting something, is the replayability. I feel like Subnautica proper has a lot of replayability. Granted, I think they both have a lot of replayability, but I think that Subnautica proper has more replayability than Below Zero does. Because Subnautica proper drops you into a new place in the safe shallows every single time. It has you go to different areas first if you want, go to different areas second if you want. You can do things in that game in pretty much any order you like. I've played through Subnautica Below Zero twice, once in early access before I actually managed to get to the ending, and once on stream where I did actually manage to get to the ending. And I'm currently playing through it on my free time now, in order to kind of just... I missed it, so I wanted to get a little bit more replay. And I have to say that on my third playthrough, I'm starting to get a little bit bored already. I'm a couple hours in, and everything just feels monotonous, like, beacon, go here, okay, beacon, go here, okay, need resources, go to this beacon and find those resources. I just feel like it's boring, versus the first game, it's like, okay, I'm in the safe shallows, I can do whatever I want. I could go to the Grand Reef right now and explore some of those wrecks for the prawn suit parts if I wanted to. I could go to the Aurora as soon as it explodes and I make a radiation suit and get it done and out of the way before I even have a Seamoth. I could do all of these things in pretty much any order, but Below Zero feels so scripted. Just, okay, go here, do this, go here, do this, go here, do this, step 1, step 2, step 3. It doesn't feel like you can mix and match everything around. Granted, you can get Alan at any point in the game you like, but if you don't get Alan, he's not going to give you any helpful tips on where to go next. So you're going to feel a little itty-bitty bit lost the entire time, like I did before I got Alan in my head. Unless, of course, you've played the game like 50 billion times, at which point you'll probably be fine. But I'm going to go rewatch the beginning of this, and we are going to find out whether or not I actually forgot anything. So I actually did forget something, come to think of it. I forgot to talk about the AI before I started talking about game replayability, which is fine, I can just tag this on here at the end. So the AI in the first game I felt like was very strong, very terrifying, in terms of the enemy AI. In terms of the friendly AI, I felt like every single friendly AI had the correct response to my presence, which was to run away as fast as their little fins could swim them. Versus the larger, more terrifying Leviathan AI, I feel like they did an equally good job with them because of the fact that they felt terrifying. The Reaper roar whenever you got within, I think it was 500 meters of a Reaper's patrol territory, always put me on edge. And the Cheliceraate roar doesn't really do the same for me. The Shadow Leviathan does, but the Cheliceraate not so much. And the ice worm too. I'm not really afraid of the ice worms because I think they're bugged and they're not actually hitting me, but we're not talking about bugs. I already talked about that in the Below Zero review video if you want more about that. But all of the enemy AI in the first game terrified me. Every single one. The only enemy AI that terrifies me in this game is the Shadow Leviathan, because they are loud, they are fast, and they are hidden. Nothing was really ever hidden in the first game, except for a couple of Reapers in, like, the dunes, or, anything else. The dunes and the crash site were both pretty hidden in terms of their, you know, presence. And nothing else really ever was. Like, the Ghost Leviathans literally glowed, and the Sea Dragons were super loud, so nothing ever really came of those guys. So the AI in this game, Below Zero, was a step down, I think. Well, not the AI, but just the enemies in general were a step down. I think the AI was about the same in terms of being terrifying or not being terrifying. Because the AI was always ruthless. It's just that the creatures weren't as scary as, say, a Reaper. Like, a Cheliceraid is not as scary as a Reaper, an Iceworm is not as scary as a Ghost. But a Shadow is certainly scarier than a Dragon, in my personal opinion. But I think I've talked about that before. So yeah, I think I've hit all of my talking points now. So that's the review video. Once again, I enjoy Subnautica more than I enjoy Below Zero. And if somebody made a mod or ported all of the quality of life stuff from Below Zero, like the pinning of the recipe thing, and took that and put that into Below Zero, then I will be ecstatic, and I would love to play Subnautica again with those mechanics in them. I think that's the one thing that's keeping Subnautica slightly below Zero in my mind's eye, is the fact that Below Zero had so much quality of life versus Subnautica really didn't have any quality of life stuff in it, and it was just terrifying, which is good. I liked the terrifying, don't get me wrong, but at the same time it was like, come on now. I want quality of life too. I want to be able to pin recipes so that I don't have to open my PDA all the time, and so that I don't have to write down the resources that I need on a piece of paper in real life, and then have all of that stuff going on. So I feel like you all can see where I'm coming from in that regard. At least I know I certainly can see where I'm coming from in that regard. But then again, it's also my opinion, so why would I not be able to see where I'm coming from in that regard? But, like I said, I think that is everything that I have for you all today, so thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Apologies for the lower voice on this one. I literally woke up like a half hour ago as of recording this, and I started recording 20 minutes ago, roughly. So I woke up like 10 minutes before I recorded, I made my breakfast, and then I hopped on the computer, set things up, and started the record button. So apologies for the slightly deeper voice. I know that might be a little off-putting because my voice is usually not this deep, but it's fine, I guess. But yeah, that's everything I have. So without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Have yourselves all a wonderful day, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Later, guys.